Hey folks, good day to you. This is the second example for number 1 on the warm-up. Okay, so we have to find the slope and the y-intercept. So just one more time, over here on the side, I want to make note that our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We are looking for m, our slope, and b, our y-intercept. So the first thing that we need to do is solve for y, this equation that we have here. Okay, now to do so, the first thing, I wrote that in the way. I shouldn't have did that. I'm going to bring it down here. 6x minus 5y equals negative 15. So the first thing I want to do is make this 6x go away. To do so, I'm going to make it a 0. And to make it a 0, I'm going to subtract 6x on both sides. So that's my very first step. I subtract to get rid of the 6x's. So what I'm going to be left with is a negative 5y equals a negative 6x minus 15. Okay, I know that was kind of fast. Hit pause or rewind it if you need to see it again. Okay, so I'm still solving for y. I have a negative 5 multiplying that y. So I'm going to do the inverse of multiplying, and I am going to divide every single term by negative 5. Okay, what that's going to leave me with, I got a 1 here, so now that negative 5 is gone, because 1 times anything is just that anything. So I'll be left with y equals a negative divided by a negative, it's a positive, 6 over 5 x negative 15 minus 15 divided by negative 5, however you see it. Okay, it's positive. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So here we go. In the place of my slope here, the number that's there, the coefficient, is 6 over 5. So here's my information that I need. My slope, 6 over 5, and my y-intercept is at 3. Written as a coordinate, it'll be 0, 3. All right, now if you're good with this example, this of course is solving the problem algebraically. We can also solve this problem graphically. Okay, and I'm going to try to give that a go in the next couple seconds. All right, folks, so one thing I forgot to do was to just circle my final answer, or put a square or some kind of shape around it. That's my final answer. The slope is 6 over 5 and the y-intercept is 0, 3. All right, so here's another way we can do this. We can solve this graphically. There's no graph here, but it's coming. Hold on. First thing I need to figure out is what is, and it doesn't matter what order you do this in, okay? You need to figure out what is the y-intercept and then what is going to be the x-intercept to the best of your abilities, okay? Now, here we go. Just as a recall moment, at the origin, you have your x-axis here and your y-axis there. If I'm looking for the y-intercept, where the y-axis is disrupted is where x is equal to 0. So to find the y-intercept, we're going to let x be 0. So let's focus on that. Here we go. I'm going to have 6 minus 5y equals negative 15. So what am I going to put in the place of x? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's a 0. Okay, so all I did here was substitute. Okay, now when I substitute that in, I got 6 times 0. Well, 0 times anything is just 0 when you multiply. Okay, so what I'm left with here is a negative 5y equals a negative 15. Well, once again, I need to get y by itself. So to get y by itself, that -5 is being multiplied by y. So to get that by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by -5. Because if I divide by -5, I end up with a 1 there, and 1 times y is just y. So now, from doing those few steps, I know that y is equal to a +3. So my y-intercept or my b is going to be, I don't know why I wrote that like that. It's going to be the coordinate 0, 3, or just b is equal to 3. Either way, it means the same exact thing. Okay, and that's the same 3 that we have right here, the same 3 that we have right there, because we have the same equation. Okay, so we're doing linear functions. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of what we do in Algebra 2 is looking at different functions. And why are we looking at functions? Functions help you to make predictions, folks. Okay, now, I want to say opposite, but it's similar. If I'm looking for the x-intercept, focus your attention over here on my little line. If I got the x-axis here going left to right, and I want to know where the y-intercept, I'm sorry, tongue-tied. Excuse me. I need to know where the x-intercept is on this line. Y is always equal to 0. So I'm going to let y be 0. And so here we go. I'm going to follow my steps that's right here. I'm going to substitute in 6x minus 5. And in the place of y, I'm going to put a 0. And that's going to equal -15. All right. So I got my 0 here. I substituted it in. No secret there. Then I know that 5 times 0 is 0. So I'm left with 6x equals a -15. Now, let that focus for a second. I don't know, something not right. It looked blurry to me, but it could be my old eyes. Okay, so 6x equals -15, and so now what I'm going to do is divide. I'm dividing by 6 because that 6 is being multiplied by x, so I have to do the inverse. So I'm dividing. I'll have a 1 here, and I'm going to leave this as I'm going to make this an improper fraction. Hold tight just a second. So I'm going to have x equals, now this is a negative divided by a positive. So that's going to be a -6 goes into 15 2 times, and you'll have 3 6 left over. Well, that's the same thing as a negative. Let me see if I can squeeze this in. 2 1/2. Okay. Very good. Now you could probably figure that out a little bit differently than Miss Gable and come out with the same thing, and that's all right. So if I wanted to write the x-intercept as a ordered pair, it would be a -2 1/2, comma 0. So I'm gonna pause it to grab my graph paper real quick. All right, good folks, this is about as good as I can get it. Your y-intercept is 0 and a +3. So I would go, if this is my origin here, then I would be up 1, 2, 3. So I would have a point here at 0, comma +3. Now that might be kind of hard to see, but that's my point at 0, 3. Then for my x-intercept, it is at a -2 1/2. So 1, 2 1/2, I'm going to say is somewhere right here. And I'm going to label that point as -2 1/2, comma 0. Okay, now saying what it is because I know it's not as legible. Let me see. Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay, but once again, we do have our coordinates down here at the bottom. So let's see. I got my little discount ruler right here. And let's see, 0, 3, -2, 0, boom. All right, I am going to have a line that may look something like what you see here. Okay, let's see. All right, so that would be my equation for my line. And then hold tight just a second. So look, even with a ruler, Miss Gable can't draw a straight line to save us. So, but anyway, look, what I wanted to point out to you is that 0, 3 is our y-intercept, and from the first part that we did to identify the slope was 6, 5, I want to show you where that come in at. If I would have drew the line better, then it would have went through this point, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -5, -3 is also a point on this line. Okay, but what I want you to see is that if I move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, then technically what I just did was apply my slope, which is 6 over 5. Now it's true that if I go up 6 more, and I could do it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's up 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this line will continue and go through that point there. Okay, but that's just another application of slopes and y-intercepts. Okay, and it will work the same way if I went down 6 and left 5, down 6 and left 5, and I would still have points on that same line. All right, folks, I hope this helped you, benefited you in some way, shape, or form. You should be able to now successfully do number 1 on the warm-up. You have your example here, and then you have the example that kind of ran me a little long. I'll include these pictures in the notes on Google Classroom, folks. All right, good day to you. Good day.